Bear in mind, this is the go home Monday Night Raw before the second biggest show of the year, Summerslam. Arguably third behind the Rumble, but probably second. And it was so boring. There has been 2 weeks of build for this pay per view, and it shows. I think there was about one and a half good segments of this show. That's the situation we're in now. The go home show of Raw, go home show of SummerSlam. We've got one and a half good promos or segments or matches or anything. Ain't nothing worth watching. I could have missed this episode of Raw. So the show starts off with Mr. Paul. Wait, it starts off with main event Jey Uso. He does his entrance, and as always, he yeets and he yeets and he yeets and he yeets. And how is this still happening? It's so boring. Like, yeah, it's good for the fans. At this point, just do it during the ad break. Because I'm sick of it. This is like Raw has the same 10-minute, 15-minute slot every single week. And it's Jey Uso's entrance. Anyway, he did his entrance. Tired old shtick now. Out came Paul Heyman. And Paul Heyman says, family lets you down. He said, look at Roman Reigns. He said, Roman wanted Solo next in line, not Jey Uso. You know, he's trying to drive a wedge between the two because there's Roman, has he said sorry? I think he kind of said sorry. I don't think he did. He said he's proud of him. I can't remember him actually apologizing, which should have happened in his return arc. I don't think he did. Or if he did, they didn't make a big deal of it. But yeah, they've obviously got a lot of issues that have happened between the two, and Paul Heyman's trying to take advantage of that. He said, family gets you in trouble. That's not a prediction, it's a prophecy. And that Paul loves Jey Uso like he's family. And then the fans start calling out the BS, and the fans are literally chanting BS, which I thought was a nice touch. Jey Uso proceeded to cut one of the better promos he's done in his career, and we didn't see any of this version of Jey Uso during his title reign. World title reign, may I add. This is Crash Out Jey Uso. And he basically started crashing out, and he just said, listen, Jey Uso, I don't play when it comes to family use. I'm always pulling up for my family use. I'm Bloodline. He won the world title to prove it to himself. And basically shut that S down. No them ones there. Next, we had a utterly useless match, and it was AJ Styles and the Kabuki Warriors versus Dom and the Judgment Day. This was pointless. We didn't need to have this match. AJ went for, a forearm to Dom, and Dom got saved by Roxanne. And then later on in the match, Dom got hit with the forearm anyway and ate the pin. So AJ's pinned the Intercontinental Champion, which probably means that Dom is going to retain at SummerSlam. Yeah, that was pointless. We could have just saved AJ, the visual of AJ and Dom wrestling until SummerSlam, because Dom was pulling this whole angle of him being injured anyway. But they had nothing better to do, so they had to they had nothing better to book on this show, so they just threw that match together. And then we got Sheamus cutting a promo backstage, who gets interrupted by Grayson Waller, and this leads to them having a match. We need to talk about how Grayson Waller's saying, he's dropped Austin Theory, because Triple H has dragged that out for a year and a half, 2 years, teasing this face turn. The crowds are chanting for Austin Theory. The crowd wants him to turn face, teasing this face turn. Dropping it for a year or 6 months, bringing it back, teasing the face turn, and then taking both of them off TV. And now Austin Theory has been injured on like a non-televised or house show or main event or something. And now we've just got no payoff, and Grayson Waller just on screen has said he's dropped Austin Theory. This is Triple H booking to a T. He's not a long-term booker. I've been saying this. He's not a long-term booker. He's just dragging things out because he doesn't know what to do until it fizzles out. It's fizzled out. Seth and Punk fizzled out, and they're still doing it. The Bloodline fizzled out. The Bloodline was, I don't know, that might have even been Vince's creation, and obviously Paul Heyman and Roman was largely involved, but that was still during Vince's era. Look at the Bloodline now. Bloodline 2.0, Bloodline 3.0, fizzling out. Jey Uso's entrance, fizzling out. Seth Punk was huge. Drew McIntyre, fizzled out. What's going on? Anyway, this led to a match, and Rusev tries to distract Sheamus. Sheamus clotheslines him off the apron, And then he hits a brogue and pins Grayson Waller. So yeah, we had a new, like, I guess, heel turn, or a double heel turn, because he was already a heel. Could have been nice to see a fresh face, but Grayson lost. Rusev then attacked Sheamus with a shillelagh after the match, put him in the accolade. Yeah, I get that's the feud here, but why did Grayson Waller have to... Yeah, like, you could do something with some of the younger and newer faces, but they refused to do it. I don't know why. And why is Sheamus? I love Sheamus, yeah? But at this stage in his career, why has Sheamus beaten Ludwig Kaiser? Why is he beating Butch? Why is he beating Grayson Waller? Like, you could, like, do the opposite and use Sheamus to elevate these guys. Because look at this guy's experience, his resume. He's got aura. He plays banger after banger after... But he just always gets to win. Why? Why does he always, like, job out these guys that, you know, could shake things up or... put some new faces on the fresh faces on the roster, but whatever. Apparently that's not what Triple H is doing. He just wants to push his 40-year-old guys. So next we have a Naomi promo backstage, very short and sweet. She says, in the triple threat match, proceed with caution because she's Rhea's not the only one that's going to bring brutality, and Io's not the only one that can fly. I think this triple threat match is going to cook, to be fair. If they don't overbook it with Naomi's heel antics. But, you know, she's been very entertaining. And I'm quite enjoying this Naomi. I'm liking, you know, we're lacking characters these days in the WWE. So it's good to have a character, you know, not just someone who loves everyone and someone who is just so happy to be here, and someone who loses title opportunities and then goes to fight celebrities, or someone who loses a title match at WrestleMania and then goes to fight an announcer. It's nice to have someone with a bit of character, you know what I mean? So that's good. Then we have a promo with Bron Breakker, Paul Heyman, and Bronson Reed backstage. And Bron Breakker has effectively said that he is the leader. They're not lacking a leader because he's the leader. And he's telling Bronson Reed, there's too many Brons, he's telling Bronson Reed to basically take out Jey Uso in the main event of Raw tonight. Then we get into the Intercontinental title, women's... It's a singles match. Lyra Becky for like the 5th time since WrestleMania. I feel like it's approaching 5th. It might actually be 5 times. Lyra's coming out with these massive, massive shoes. Does a little cute little dance with them. Does a little twirl. And she says, everyone's probably seen my big shoes. These are to stomp Becky Lynch out. She says Becky will cheat, but there's no rules because they're having a no-holds-barred match. And she's going to go to a place that she's never been before. She's trying to show that fire. Becky tries to, you know, her entrance music hits. Lyra's watching the entranceway, and then all of a sudden, you know, she's waiting. Becky's not coming out. She just runs straight towards the ropes, bounces off it, and then hits Becky, who's on the other side of the ring, with a kendo stick. So she takes the kendo stick off her, gets her licks in, and leaves Becky running away. I think this match could cook if it's not overbooked, but I think there's going to be some shenanigans, which I will get to. So we'll see how this goes. I think SummerSlam, it's all dependent on the booking, man. This could cook, or it could be an absolute mess. But yeah, it's just all about being booked correctly. The right matches, getting the right amount of time, the right winners. Things have to make sense. So if those are the factors that is going to determine if this pay-per-view is going to be good or not, WWE in 2025, it's probably cooked. This show's probably cooked. This show's probably cooked, man. I don't know who's writing this stuff. Next, we have an okay promo. Okay, so I said 1.5 good segments. Maybe let's call it one good segment, half a good segment, and a half another good segment. But I can't call it 2 good segments, can I? Because it's technically 3. Sami Zayn has an interview backstage. It's all right. It's very simple, but I liked how both men came across in this. Sami Zayn wants to be done with Karrion Kross, because Karrion Kross is stopping him from getting his goals to, you know, become world champion for the first time. You know, climb the ranks, climb the ladder. And Karrion Kross is getting in the way every single time. Next, Karrion Kross shows up to the interview and sits on the other side, sits across from him on a chair, with Scarlett by his side. And he said, Karrion Kross, you know, quite menacingly said, he's gotten everyone to show their true colours except Sami Zayn, and that fact has been pissing him off. And the way he delivered that, I thought was really good. He wants Sami to say that Kross told the truth, and Sami finally said that if Kross wins, Sami will say whatever Cross wants him to say. Cross, I think, looked quite threatening. He looked quite angry here. I thought, it was very short, and Cross is someone who's maximised his minutes. He doesn't get much, but he maximises his minutes. And let him... I don't know why he lost at the last pay-per-view. Was it Night of Champions? I don't know why he lost. He's been talking all this crud for, I don't know, months. So, okay, before Sami Zayn, it was AJ Styles. And before AJ Styles, it was someone else. Before that, it was someone... He's been talking crud for months. And he finally gets in the ring, and they had him lose. I don't understand. Why is Sami Zayn can lose? Sami Zayn's that guy where he could lose 100 matches and a good storyline will come out of it, or he won't be, his reputation won't be damaged. But yeah, we're just giving the newer guys L's to feed, I don't know why, the established guys. This is just all backwards to me. We have a very short interview with Bayley, and she said, she's basically highlighting the fact that she got cancelled at WrestleMania, or, kayfabe got injured, got attacked. She lost the Intercontinental title opportunity. She lost the tag titles. She wasn't even a tag title opportunity. And then she lost it again last week, didn't she? And she was lost for words. She's having a rough patch in her career. Maybe those shenanigans at SummerSlam is a Bayley heel turn. Maybe we get a heel 3 out of 4 horsewomen at some point. Maybe one day Charlotte turns on Alexa. Maybe Mercedes Moné comes back. But I don't know. That'd be cool. But I think it's one of those factions where if those 3 or 4 got together, like, they ain't getting booed. There ain't no way people are going to boo them. But let's see. Next, we have another pointless match. We have an 8-woman tag. Do I even need to go for it? It ended with Stephanie Vaquer pinning Chelsea Green. It didn't really matter. It was Io, Rhea, Stephanie Vaquer, Nikki Bella, Chelsea Green, Secret Service, and Naomi. Nice to see an 8-man all-woman tag match. I don't remember the last time I saw that. But it was pointless. We're just throwing them all together. It's a tag match, so, hopefully, less likelihood of people getting injured, so I can see why they did it. But this didn't build towards the main event, main women's title match. It didn't build towards anything else. And it's just a waste of time. This is our go-home show for SmackDowns, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, go-home show for SummerSlam, ladies and gentlemen. Good stuff. I was struggling. Like, this show took me ages to finish because I just couldn't bring myself... Like, when you should be glued to the screen. You should be glued to the screen, match after match after match, promo after promo after segment. If this is, like, the greatest Renaissance era, that's what it should be like. There have been times back in the day, even, like, 2023... I remember watching Raw and it would fly by and I'd just watch all of it. And this time I was like, okay, I'll stop here. I'll come back to it. It's just a drag. But this is what we're here for. Let me cook wrestling. Next, we have the never-ending reign of terror of the Judgment Day. Because we have Finn and JD. I love Finn Balor and I like JD too. Versus Legado del Fantasma for the tag team titles. It's hard to get hyped into this match because... Legado del Fantasma hasn't been prominent in the cards or booked or consistent or built up to have this opportunity, so it was hard to be invested. I don't really care who won or who lost. So, and what happens next is even worse because El Grande Americano showed up, who's Mr. Ludwig Kaiser, supposedly, and Finn didn't get the win, and then later on a different El Grande Americano shows up, which I'm guessing is Pete Dunne, is what I'm hearing, and he's a bit shorter, so potentially. And then Finn gets the pin and Judgment Day retain. I need to know, what is the incentive for people to dress up as El Grande Americano and fight up Mexicans? Why? What is the benefit? Because obviously someone's already done it. Chad Gable's already done it. Supposedly Chad Gable has already done it. And what did it get him? It got him nothing. He got a WrestleMania match. Okay, cool. Did he get a title? Isn't everything meant to revolve around titles? He didn't get a title. I don't think he even got a title match. He might have. It was in Money in the Bank. I think he had 2 qualifying matches, so that was also something that didn't make sense. I'm trying to think of reasons why a mid-card wrestler with nothing to do would want to do this. Why? Unless this ends, because it didn't do anything for Chad, bro. It didn't do anything for him. He got his arm broken by Penta by the end of it. The only thing that might make sense is if those 3 become a faction by the end of it. Even then, it's not justified. Because why would you go for all this hassle? Like, why do you have beef with all these guys? You don't. You put a mask on and now you don't like them for some reason. Like, what's their allegiance with Chad Gable if it's to do with Chad Gable then? If they don't end up in a faction, then this doesn't make sense. And then, if they just start if they think this is like a funny meme and they're just going to put it on random wrestlers every few months, like, it's just a joke. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing and it's lazy writing. This is your go-home show for SummerSlam. I repeat. Now we get the promo that was actually good. And why was it good? It's because it involved a microphone and it involved CM Punk. So before Punk, Gunther came out, and he was quite funny because he was saying, yeah, I went bar for bar with CM Punk last week and I left him speechless. Basically, he's supposedly the GOAT on the mic. And also, I don't know why that happened last week. You had 2 weeks to build this match, and one of the weeks you didn't have Punk clap back at Gunther. Why did they do that? What a waste of time. Gunther was, talking smack, and then out comes CM Punk. And then CM Punk said he did not, he wasn't speechless. He was dumbfounded. He was dumbfounded at, Gunther. He was dumbfounded and he realized that he didn't just want to be champ. He needed to be champ. He needed it like he needs air in his lungs. He needed it like his heart, his heart needs to pump blood around his veins. And he said that although he doesn't do drugs, he doesn't do alcohol, he doesn't do any of that stuff. He said he understands addiction, and he understands addiction because wrestling is his addiction, and he earned the right to call himself the best in the world and be arrogant about it. But Gunther can't back it up. This promo was cooking. Punk was cooking. He doesn't need much time to get you to feel something. I was feeling stuff. Punk was cooking, and he was saying, look at my resume. Look at the bodies he's left behind. He's left legends, Hall of Famers, superstars that Gunther can't even get a touch on his resume. I wish he said it, but he should have said he tapped out to Jey Uso, but I feel like WWE's they're going to try and act like that never happened. But it did. We can't forget that. There was a nice bit when Gunther tried to get the mic, his own mic, and was like, CM Punk, I've had enough. Shut up. He tried to say shut up, and then Punk literally just put his hand on the mic and stopped him and he said, nah, I ain't done, kid. And he said, I ain't finished, kid. There's levels to this. And then, he basically ended the promo there. That was good. Gunther looked frustrated. This promo would have been really good last week. And then they could have had a bit more, actual heat this week. But for some reason, they had Punk stay silent last week. I don't know why. I cannot explain why. Next, we had Jay and Bronson Reed in the main event. And for the second, not week, for the second show, so 3 days apart, we have a main event DQ finish because Braun Breaker came out and he attacked Jey Uso at the down the entrance ramp. Because SmackDown main event ended in DQ, and now this has ended in a DQ. Ain't that great? Round of applause. That's a round of applause right there. That is chef's kiss booking right there. What are you doing? Come on, man. And then, everyone could predict what was going to happen because as soon as Jay got attacked, the crowd started chanting OTC. And then Roman gave us, his drip feeding, micro segment. He showed up. He got some licks in. And then there was a nice spot where Jay and Roman were going to go round each side of the ring, on the outside. And I guess do, in-sync spears to each of them. But the other two, so Braun speared Roman. And then on the other side, Bronson clothesline Jay. So it wasn't perfectly timed, but that was pretty cool. And then I think Roman took a few tsunamis, and then both of them got speared through the barricade, and that's the end of the Raw. That's the final image of the go home show for SummerSlam. I'm just gonna have to accept this build ain't great. The match card is okay, and it could be great with the correct booking. We're just gonna have to see how it goes. We will have to see how it goes. I might do a SummerSlam predictions video at some point this week. Love.